Hello everyone and welcome to another GM live stream. I am GM Raiden. With me is GM Storm. You can't see us today, but we are here. Don't worry. We are just like
we
those.
are here.
We are just those voices in your head today. Wait, does that make us Randy Orton?
It might.
Yeah, because you're here, or actually no, it makes the chat Randy Orton because they're hearing voices in their head now. Yeah. But
Good voices.
But exclamation point Discord if you guys want to join the Discord, because we do have some community events. Storm, what is today's or this week's Discord quest?
This week is an easy one. It's a simple task for people to kick off September. All you need to do is let us know which pet is your favorite from the reorder pet shop. There's a lot of new pets that came in through that reorder shop. A lot of cool ones. So just let us know what your favorite one is from the reorder shop, and you'll be entered into the monthly giveaway for 600 KC.
We also have Who's That Character? Now, normally we do this for the second half of the month, but we have instead moved it to the start of the month. So, I did post today's about an hour, almost 2 hours ago. And we still have yesterday's that is currently up and running a little bit longer. So, definitely take advantage of it. Enter in every day. And you can win KC. You can even win multiple times. So definitely enter multiple times. And by multiple times, I mean enter each day. We also have an Elsword cryptogram. This is going to be a weekly thing that we're going to be doing. So we got this week's currently up. It's all going to have a theme to it. So this week's theme is characters, mostly the playable ones. We're going to start off a little bit easy to let you guys understand what a cryptogram is. Storm did feature the cryptogram as part of the Discord quest, actually.
Yeah, we've had a couple of them. So if you've been a part of those, you should definitely know what's going on, and hopefully be easy for you this first time.
And lastly, we also have our monthly fashion event. We have made a bit of a change. Instead of it being only the first half of the month, we are making it be the whole month. So up until September 30th, you have a chance to win in KC for showing off your fall fashion. I almost said summer. It's way too hot right now that it still feels like summer. But we will
Summer somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. We also will have Spot the Difference later in the month. So definitely tune in then. Okay. Now, I should have done this earlier. First, sorry for the late start, guys. We are having some technical difficulties. But we do have a guide for Pruinaum Raid, and I know some people are like, well, you guys should be doing Abyss. Well, two things. One, we already have. We did the solo raid for Abyss when it was introduced. So that's technically our guide for Abyss Raid that covers the mechanics. So think of it this way. Go back to our YouTube VOD, because the VOD is easily available there. You can jump around to the parts that you need. We do all 4 dungeons. We try to explain the mechanics as best as possible. I die a few times because I mess up some of the mechanics. But it's there. However, we might do a regular guide like what we're doing today for Abyss in the future. And the second one is, with the recent events happening, we've seen on like Discord and even like social media that people are still struggling with Pruinaum Raid, that they can't easily clear it. Now, you guys can see the game screen. I'm not going to be actively playing today. What I'm going to be doing instead is playing videos. That way we can pause it, we can rewind, I can show you guys, I can point out all the different things and all that. But the reason why I'm on this character is because this is the same character I used for the videos. You can see that I am just under 3 million combat power, and everything that you see as my equipment, with the exception of the raid accessories, the wing, and the master road, and of course the rings, it's all temporary. Well, also the Amethystine Prophecy set, but that one you can get from Professor Foe. So this is all stuff you can have at this point in the game. And I know someone's like probably thinking, well, Raiden, you're 400 ERP. I'm not using 200 points of it. I only use 200 points of my ERP, and it's only in skill cooldown decrease and skill damage. And there's a reason for that. One, the combat power boost event boosts you up to 200 immediately. And two, I wanted to kind of like show that you don't need 300 or 400 for this. Crazy dedication, appreciate. When I do something like this, I want to go as... I was about to say something, but I feel like if I say it, it's gonna come up wrong. I don't want it. I don't want it to come up.
Usually, you don't say those things.
Exactly. That's why I'm not saying as low. I would say as low as possible, but more like what you guys can access. Now, some people might also say like, well, what about the title? Professor Foe has your back. You can see like I cleared the entirety of this third guide. And you can see this third guide is just Rigor and Masterclass.
Foe just gives you a temporary one, right?
Yes.
So what if they've already used the temporary one, right?
Okay, if you actually use the temporary one, then you're going to have like less damage than, say, I did.
Okay.
But you can always use an alternative title. My recommendation
is... What would you recommend? Okay.
Survival of the Cold. Which is a title you can get in Rigor. It's very easy to get nowadays. I actually, on a brand new account very recently, got this in like 2 dungeon runs. The first to discover it, and the second one to obtain it. So...
nice and easy.
Yeah, it's very easy. And of course, you can see like this gives some really useful stats. Is that Vermilion or Crimson? It's Crimson. I went Crimson. You can actually see like right here, it's all plus 10. It's all Reforged 20. Again, this is all stuff you can get from Professor Foe. Everything that you can see from here is obtained from Professor Foe. Granted, most of it is temporary. And the only exception are the rings. You can get the rings from like some of the... like some events, from some of the job level up cubes. So... you won't have these ones, but you will have some form of rings that can help you out. So, definitely make use of Professor Foe's Growth Guide. And even here, I did not do most of the lessons for the 4th Growth Guide, which gives you permanent artifact accessories. I'm using the temporary ones. I am stage 3 on my artifact growth, so there's not a lot of potential there, because I don't have my third... my third force passive. And as you can also see, my artifact equipment is timed. I do, as you can kind of like see down here, I do have the force mods for the base class skills, which some might say, but Ryan, those are in turn hog afterwards. You can get them from other players, and we've given a few out. Come on, guys. Give some level of leeway here. But here's my 4 skills. I do have pretty much the unique of all 3, and I do in the video swap to Olympia at one point, mostly just because I wanted to try to show as much of the mechanics, the attacks as possible, so you all understood, and it did take a bit of time, so I removed eroding for Olympia to keep me alive. Have you mystic your weapon any better, or is it the bare minimum? Thank you. I almost forgot about that, actually. It is the bare minimum. I think like the only thing that might be different is the additional effect, and that's because like it's whatever. I mean, I say it's whatever, but it is actually a pretty important thing. I also didn't use imprints, so maybe you want to do some imprints. But you can see like this is a straight out of the box Flames of Judgment weapon from Professor Foe. Okay. Give me one moment. I'm gonna change our screens. So you guys are not gonna be hearing the Elsword game. It might start off as a black screen. Don't worry about that. It's just for a quick... Actually, no. Before I do that, let's actually talk a little bit about stats, because stats are kind of important too. I'm sure some people like wondering, like, well, what's your adaptation looking like? What's your boss damage and all that? I didn't have a lot of boss damage stones. I was able to grab a few, and as you can kind of see, like, I am using the promo costume. They are not socketed at all. Stats that they give are very useful, very helpful. But you can see my crit chance is about 67.6. My maximize is 56.12. My polarize is almost 30%, mostly due to the Crimson set. My skill damage is pretty high up there because of the couple of the different things. A little on the low side, but nice. I'm going to tell you also this much. The dungeons didn't take that long, at least in terms of, like, if I were to complete them as fast as possible, they wouldn't take as long as the videos actually are. Storm is, like, probably, like, looking over the video like, holy crap, why is it this long? Because I gave him a copy of the video so that he could watch along, too. Adaptation is 44% with the black and white title. I do switch to Guardian of Every Note here and there. I do also have Night Parade of the Savage White Ghosts. I think that's what it's called. Of the White Ghosts. Close enough. Nope. This is all my recordings that I've done, like, in the past week. How do I have so much action speed? 125.9? That's a good question, actually. Oh, I know I'm getting, like... Here's 10% right here. I'm trying to think if, maybe, like, one of these. Although, I think I'm looking at the additional effects for these, actually, because I'm noticing the all skill damage. Neat. I do have, the Guardian... the new power and the Elrose Guardian Knight. You can kind of, like, see some of the Iceburner stuff that I did have. I forgot to remove those, but it doesn't matter, because... yeah, I can't really use them. And yeah, 10% right there, so that's it. Collection, yes. Now, my collection is... It's not filled completely, but it does have a lot, so that does also factor in. So you can, like, see, I do have quite a bit. But this is, like, something I definitely recommend for everyone. Do not ignore your collection bonuses. Even, like, some of the smaller stuff that you think isn't going to matter, it actually does matter quite a lot.
Stuff adds up.
Mm-hmm. But for this, I also did not use any synergy. I was debating on it, and initially I was going to, because you guys can always get a 7-day synergy ticket and just some events and all that. But I decided against it. That face when your collection is bigger than mine. Cyclic, if you actually saw my real collection, I'm just going to tell you this now, everyone is Masterclass, and it's filled. I don't think much... Yeah, that's also true. Like, most people probably would not have, like, much in terms of characters for the collection for synergy. But if you always find yourself struggling, maybe, like, try out a new character, level them up, at least for the collection bonuses. If you guys want a couple of recommendations, Rune Master, Immortal are good. All the Eves are very good. All the Chungs, even, I would say. All the Renas. Most of the Yines. I would say that Bluehin is probably the weakest of them. All the Luciels, yes. All the Labbies are pretty good. Most of the Roses, I would say Minerva and Prime Operator. All the Noahs are also pretty good. Unfortunately, sorry, Storm, but Lithia is not the best
I know.
You can also go for Icer if you want, like, some of the base stats. If you want some defense, go for the auras as well. But yeah, like, you can, like, see, like, these stats do add up, and they will help you out in the long run. In fact, to also contribute to my action speed, I got 10% just because of this and DSR. But to kind of, like, give a little bit of a recommendation, if you guys need some more defensive stuff, try to get Chung, Centurion, and Opferon for Ein. This will give you damage dealt by boss monsters reduction, which can help you with surviving against raid bosses, especially. Can you tell me what the bubbles do at the top of the second part of Pruinaum Raids? It keeps killing my party. I don't understand what's happening. We'll get there, Levesso. Don't worry. We'll get there. We still need to actually start the video. Adaptation-wise, though, the dungeon has, I believe it's an 80% Demon Realm debuff, and the stronger the debuff and the less adaptation you have, the more likely you're going to die. So, build up your adaptation. The Elrose Guardian Knight can give you 5%, as you can see right there. The plus 10 Reforged 20 Amethystine Prophecy set alone gives you, I want to say it's like 3%. Looking at it, yeah, 3% per piece. So that's an additional 12. A number of the accessories. The Master Road accessory set, for example, equipping 3 pieces gives you 3% adaptation. You can see I have the Agate Fragment, which gives you 2%. I got Nightmare Blindfold, which is 2%. Soul Crown, which is something that you can get from the raid temporarily, is another 2%. If you don't have that, you can run Demonic Vine Crown, but you lose out on the adaptation. I don't believe... Yeah, the Rosso accessories do not give any, but you do get 5% from the Flames of Judgment weapon, so definitely get that weapon. Your title does matter too, because you can see I get 3% from there. I believe Black and White gives 5%? Yes, it does. And with Survival of the Cold, for those who don't have access to the temp one, or like it may be gone, you get 2% from them. So definitely consider that. You also get the camp buff. The raid party is resolved. That adds an additional 2%. And don't forget your adaptation elixirs. That's a 3% increase right there. With the camp buff, that's 5%. That doesn't get added to your stats in terms of the window, but it does count towards the cap. The cap is 55. You want to get as close as you can to that mark, at least for future content. But where I'm at right now, between 40 to 45, is a good place to be for Pruinaum Raid. Did you record with or without title switching? Because I assume newer people wouldn't title switch and make use of that. I do use title switching mostly just for a bit of survival aspects. Some of it is more advanced, but it's stuff that you can eventually learn. Alright, Storm, I think it's time that we actually play a video. It's been like 20 minutes.
I think it's time. Let's see what you have.
Okay, so I'm going to switch over. Again, the audio on the stream is going to kind of go quiet for a little bit, and the screen's going to go black. Don't worry. To say that, okay. What's wrong? Yeah. Okay, so apparently because all of them were active, they all just played at once. No. Okay, starting off.
That's good.
Okay, so sorry for that. We had a little scuff before the stream. We have a little scuff during the stream. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. It's super loud. Let me reduce it because I didn't reduce the decibels. I'm gonna reduce it down to about 6.8, 6.5. I'm gonna do that for all of them actually. Wait, I did that for Storm. I shouldn't have done that for Storm. Okay. So the first one is going to be the Savage White Ghost. Now, you guys can hear the audio. I really can't because I don't have the playback option set, and I don't want to put it on just in case. So, Storm has the video. Storm, on my count, just hit play.
Which one are we starting with?
Savage White Ghost Castle. All right, so I'll do 3, 2, 1, play, and then you can hit play, all right?
Sounds good.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. All right, so one thing that you also want to do that I don't show in the video is grab the Gate of Darkness buff. That gives you 5% MP recovery per second. That will give you an additional special active skill damage effect. You can see here, I'm using the elixir as I go into the dungeon. You can see my full setup right there. Very similar to, actually, the same as what I had before. Alright, so I go to the right. Actually, in fact, I'm going to hit pause. So, you could go between left or right side. There is the Magician and the Warrior. Magician on the right, Warrior on the left. Since this is solo mode, this one mechanic doesn't apply. But if you do story or normal, it can and will apply, and depending on what your team comp is looking like in terms of how geared they are, how well, like how powerful they are, and how knowledgeable they are, this could be a detriment, or it could just be a nothing burger. But if everyone goes to one side, the bosses get angry, and they will have increased damage, and they will have damage reduction. And it will get stronger the more that you stay like that. So someone has to go to the other side, at least one person. not only that, but in the team setting, if a character dies, if a party member dies, that buff, that angry buff that they get when everyone's on one side, also occurs. And it will stack up the more players die. So, try to stay alive, try to focus on living. That said, let's go back into play. So, right here, I'm mostly just like staying right on top of the boss. In solo mode, you don't have to worry about the Flames of Retribution, the Embers of Retribution buff, or debuff, that occurs, which, when you hit the boss, it will heal them. But you can see, like, I'm really clearing right now. I do use a fighter potion, which, if you guys aren't using fighter potions and you want to actually clear faster, make use of fighter potions. Right there, I got copied and I got pulled over. In solo mode, you can just immediately run. You don't have to worry about getting stuck. But in teams, if you get pulled over, you are stunned. And you are stunned for the whole duration. When that happens, your allies need to come over, and they need to body block the spear. If they are successful, like they block it enough, then you actually won't die. You just take a little bit of damage. But here's another mechanic. It's a nice little orb connection. You can kind of see if I move too far away, it glows orange, but when I'm close, the chain is there with the blue. You want it to be connected like that. When you're in a team setup, another player will have that, and anyone between you and them will take damage while they're in that line. So they may need to move away. If it's orange... Well, okay, I'll actually go back to that in a bit. So this is an ultimate attack from the Magician side. You need to stand in that little blue area. When you're in team like a normal or story, there are multiple portals. This is also where I realized, oh, I should probably, like, you know, switch out because I don't want to lose HP. I'm still need to show a mechanic or two. But in team mode, there will be multiple areas that you need to stand on, so definitely stand on the areas. Separate so everyone covers it. If you don't, then there will be the ultimate attack that hits everywhere, and everyone will die. Feel free to pause and explain. I may do that, Bison. I may do that. Okay, I'm going to actually pause here. So, you can see that the orbs are orange. Well, one reason like why I wasn't pausing is because there's like a lot of video footage. Like, there's still like 11 minutes left. 11 and a half. But I might jump around. But you can see that it's orange. And if it stays like that, when the mechanic ends, there will be an explosion that deals damage to both players in team mode. Okay, hold on. I gotta disable the sound effects on my side. Because someone just started playing Dive, and I'm like, why do I hear Dive? Storm, is that you?
Nope.
But going back. So, when the mechanic ends, if it's orange, then the two players that have it in teams are going to explode and they both will die. If any player ally is next to them, they will also take damage too and will die. So keep that in mind, especially if you happen to be separated, like one person is on the warrior side and everyone else is on the magician side. If you're on the warrior side and you get this mechanic, move over to the magician side immediately. The good news, though, is that revival effects from, like, titles, Seal of Time, passive effects, they will let you survive, but be very cautious. Where is the play button? Why can't I see the play button? Oh, that's why. Okay. There is another thing. So, I mentioned the Embers of Retribution buff. In fact, you can actually see it right there. I switched to the Night Parade of the White Ghost title, which has a revival effect. I took the hit just to show you. But I mentioned before the Embers of Retribution buff. The attacks from both the Magician and the Warrior do inflict this debuff. And again, if you have this debuff active, then hitting the boss will heal it instead of dealing damage. So you want to be careful with that. But if you're playing a class that has debuff removal effects or cleanses, you may want to be using those as much as possible. If you're playing Deus Ire, that would be Philanthropy. I am forgetting what Avarice's skill is called. I want to say it's Falling Flower. Chat, someone correct me on that. pretty much most healers like Blue Hen, Nyx Pieta, Radiant Soul have it. Okay, thank you. It is falling flowers. Thank you, Shimo, for confirming it too. Okay, now I'm still waiting for one more attack. There is like one more attack that I haven't seen. Also, this is where I finally equip Whimsy for Twins Picaro, which for her, it can remove debuffs and it gives you super armor. Very useful all around. I didn't feel like restarting the recording at this point, so it's like, yeah, let's just keep going with it. All right, I'm actually gonna jump ahead. Was it here? No. Ah, right there. Okay, gonna back up a little bit. Okay, so he did pull me over for another charge, and I'm like, I'm gonna like beat you up a little bit more. Maybe that'll make you decide to use your gathering energy. So this is the warrior's ultimate. You need to stay in this little box to not die, because this, similar to the charging magic, will hit the entire map. During this, you can deal damage. The warrior will have lower defense, or at least will have the damage reduction effect removed, so that you can actually deal some big damage to it. But you can kind of like see now, I'm like, okay, I think we can just finish this off. I did make a mistake, if you guys have been paying attention to Twins Picaro. I used up all my Black Aura stacks. I meant to save it, but unfortunately I forgot to use Soup one. Alright, now we come to Hadron. We've defeated the copies, we're in phase 2. Now, in this one, you could die if you fall off the edges. So this is very similar to a couple of other raids that you guys have played. You've seen this in the Abyss raid, you've seen this in Rosso raid. So try to stay in the center. You can use super armor here, but for a very, very important reason, I will recommend not doing so. Or at least if you do so responsibly. At 240 health bars, he becomes invulnerable for a minute just so he can do some sort of anime pose, which it doesn't really do anything. This attack, you can kind of like see the outlines of the attack when he's going to strike and dive bomb. Just avoid it. And I'm just like being very funny here. I got a little bit worried when I did that dive kick, by the way, when I was recording, because I'm like, oh, am I too high? Am I going to go off the edge? If so, that'll be funny. That'll be the funny moment in the stream. But no. Once you hit 150, though, you will transition into phase 2, but you transition in a very different way. Alright, and right there, we hit 150. He's pretty much gonna just, insult you, and he'll drop these orbs. If you have super armor active, you cannot launch yourself on the orbs unless you mana break. Now, I don't really show that here because I don't want to mana break for that, but you need to do that to survive, because the lower platform is going to disappear. Now, I am going to pause here. I'm going to switch to a little side video that we made. This is an advanced trick for those who have mobility, like Deus Ire. Labby, I want to say, may be able to do this. Storm is going to be happy, but Lithia can do this.
Ooh.
Now, Storm, it's up to you if you want to switch to the mobility characters footage, but I'm going to put it up on stream.
All right.
Alright. In fact, Storm is with me for this one. Thank you, Storm, for joining.
Being featured on the stream.
With their old main when they started running. I'm playing a Deus Ire here, using as much speed as possible just to get up to the upper area, skipping the mechanic entirely. Unfortunately, Storm, because I pretty much like to ask Storm.
You left me in the dust.
I did ask you, like, hey, I just need you to, like, enter the dungeon, because you can kind of like, see in the top right corner, this is story mode. I did do some story mode for certain mechanics, because you don't see them in solo mode, but in story, you can see them if you have a party member. Wait, what? Yeah, when he's saying the wait what for, Bison, I'm sure you're kind of like, I'm actually like wondering. If it's like being able to get up here, then yeah. Deusire can do it. Lithia can do it with the sling. You may need things like hyper acceleration and just knowing how to use your character's movement effectively. Like I'll redo this part again for you, Deusire. And if you guys remember, this is the same Deusire that I played during the Abyss Raid. So yeah, you can see I use a bit of a high jump with hyper acceleration, the dash X with the dash ZX to get a lot of height and make it up here. And I think this is actually, yeah, Storm doesn't revive here because unfortunately ran out of resurrection stones. Alright, well let's go back to Savage White Ghost Castle. Okay, so in phase 2, oh, there is actually something I forgot to mention. If you are a character with a freeze skill, do not freeze during phase 1 of this. You want to use it here, because this is the best way to deal as much damage as possible and try to finish the phase faster. Now, you can actually see like there are broken up platforms below and onto the sides. Similar to before, you fall, it's a life. I do a lot of damage very quickly. Oh, gotta be careful of that little Kamehameha Hadouken attack, because it will push you off if you're not careful. Super Armor can help fight against it. If you do get hit by it and you start getting dragged, try to mana break as fast as possible. That could save you and push you down onto one of the platforms. This attack's still trying to dodge it. I dodged the final hit. Barely. I don't know if I want to... Actually, you know what? I'm going to speed up a little bit. I'm going to jump to 945. That should be good. Actually, that might be too much. Yep, that was too much. Because there's one attack that I wanted to show. Oh, that's where it was. Actually, there's 2 attacks. Okay, so now we're at 850. Just dealing some extra damage. Alright, as time passes, you'll get this other attack where Hadron will go to the sides and he will launch a pretty much like Sin Cleaver from Genesis. He'll go into like one of the 4 corners to do it, and then he'll also create a tornado in the center, launching them on both sides. So you want to stay on the edges, but the tornado is going to push you away. You will fall if you're not careful. Super Armor can help with it. Especially if you get hit by the little shockwaves. They do inflict hit stun, which can push you back if you're not careful. But don't touch the tornado. You get too close, that is a lot of damage, and that will result in a death. I am going to jump ahead now. I think we'll jump to 10 minutes. Yep. Because we already saw the finish, so. Once again, if you are very receptive on Twins Picaro, I made another mistake and used up all my Black Aura stacks again. Ryder was very tired when he recorded this as well.
At least you got the job done.
I'm seeing mechs I've never seen in my life. Elgon, if you never had played this before a lot of the changes happen, then a lot of this probably looks very new to you. And I can see like why people might get confused. But moving on, we are now dealing with Hyven. If you were... I'm going to pause here. Because I actually need to explain this. Since I mentioned some of the older stuff, this boss fight was a lot different. If you were here when the raid was initially released for like the first 3 to 4 years, I'd say, there were 4 phases of this, with the first 3 being... Actually, was it 3? No. It was 5 phases, technically. And the first 4 phases were all the same. There was a bomb that was placed in each area, and you needed to destroy the bomb per phase. And then you had to destroy the generator that was in the center to move to the next area, or the next phase. And there would be some different mechanics that would kind of like pop up. Some of which were used in the very last part, so I will be explaining those when we get to them. but it would take longer to do it. Like 20 minutes long, potentially 30 minutes long, like when it first released. And then even after like some nerfs came in and people got stronger, it still took like 5 minutes or so just for this phase. But having said that, let's now move on. So, Hyven, he will move around every so often. You can see that he's targeting me. What this means is that he's going to be launching a set of missiles directly at me, and he'll launch them directly at whoever he's targeting in a team fight. When that happens, you want to not be in front of that person based on where he's aiming. Now, one thing that I didn't show off here, but if you go above Hyven, he will face in your direction, but you'll never get hit. Also, I unfortunately die here because I was silly and I jumped into the head bombs. In fact, we're gonna like rewind that so you guys can laugh at me a bit, because I do need to explain the head bombs. So the head bombs. Oh wow, there was actually 2 of them. No wonder why I died. So they will launch a bomb that will implant themselves on a person's head, which you can see like right there. I pretty much took 2 blasts at the same time. They deal high damage. So in team, what will happen is a player will get it, and what they need to do is move away from the rest of the party. Anyone who is near the player that has it on their head will take damage, but the player who has it won't, ironically enough. And if you take damage, I'm going to pause here, because that is a very important mechanic I need to explain. But if you get hit, you will also get potion sickness, so your potions are going to be on cooldown. Something that you've got to be very cautious with. Alright. In the case of solo, pausing again, before I explain this mechanic. In solo mode, the bombs are going to be placed where you get hit by them, so you need to move away from them. But now we come to this. You can see that there's a ton of cursors, the same one that I was being targeted with before. This is the carpet bombing attack. But there is a spot that you can see where there is nothing. That is the safe zone. You want to stand there. You and the party, if you're doing normal or story, and you get this mechanic, will want to be in this safe area. Now, the safe area is not this one specifically every time. It could be here. It could be in the small one above me. It could be on the right side in the same row. So go there, and you'll be safe, as you're going to see in a moment. Boom. Hello, Zeta. Hyven will always do it twice. You do got to be careful with these little drones. If you have the, I think it's Soul Harvest Force, you can destroy one of them to get rid of them. You also got this laser attack. You can still hit Hyven on the side. It is kind of annoying to do so, so just be cautious. And you can see, like, right there, I'm just getting juggled. And that's actually really it for the mechanics and the attacks, because this one doesn't have a lot. It used to have more because of the bombs and the generator. So, it being like this way now, it's a lot easier. Just restarted the game, didn't get here yet. If anything, Zeta, this will probably help you out when you get to this point. This is all stuff that I'm equipped with that you can have at that point in the game. So, you don't have to worry about, like, oh, the GM is just, like, that much more powerful than me. Okay, so he's doing another carpet bombing. One thing you can do if you are not able to get into, like, one of the spots, either because of the other drones, you could use a revival title to survive, and or you could be like me, where I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna jump over it, because there is an area above the carpet bombing that you can just use to avoid it. Yep, right there is me going for the kill shot, and boom. Hyven is down. That is The Savage White Goat's Castle Dungeon. The first half of Pruinaum Raid done. Now, Storm, you said that you have some solo experience. Want to share a little bit of it to everyone in the chat?
Yeah, it was. I was much more geared than you are, so it was a little. It was fairly simple in that regard. It wasn't anything too crazy, but you know, there's a little learning curve. So I think this guide, I might have learned something from you as well to make it a little easier on my future characters that maybe aren't so geared like my Lithia.
Mm-hmm.
But very fun raid. Definitely a few mechanics that take some getting used to, I think, initially. But once you get them, you know, I feel like anyone can complete it.
All right. Now we're going to go into Altar of Invocation. So this is where I actually had to prepare a lot of extra footage for stuff. In fact, I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extra videos on this. So we're going to start off with the regular dungeon. I will pause and switch to the other ones as needed. In fact, let me actually just move this around so I can access them more easily. There we go. Okay. Storm, you got the Altar of Invocation footage up?
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, you can kind of see, like, this time I'm starting with the Guardian of Ariano title just because I do have that Ring of Fury. It will give me the damage buff at the very start. Also, I gotta say, this is one of the best songs in the game. So good that they had to put it in twice. So, the first form of Berthe is actually probably the simplest of it. Actually, no. I'd say he is. Okay, so right there. Back up a little bit. Okay, it's a bit hard to see because of Labby's purple and pink effects, but there is a symbol in the top right next to my health bar. And a nice purple glow aura. Oh, I kind of went past it. So, this is the main mechanic. Screen for no, I paused it, Zeta. It's a video. It's not live play. It's not live play. This is the main mechanic of this fight and even the next fight, actually. And it's skill bands. This is the one that is probably confusing a lot of people the most when it comes to clearing this. And is what is causing a lot of parties to fail, especially with the recent events. So, you saw purple. Purple is strength skills. What is a strength skill? If you guys don't read your skills or your passives, this is where I need to chastise you for doing so. And this is where I need to tell you, read your dang skills, please. Levesso, please don't do that. All your skills on your bar and in your skill tree will tell you what kind of skill it is. It'll tell you if it's an active. It'll tell you if it's a tenacity. It'll tell you if it's a strength. It'll tell you it's a bravery. But in this case, strength skills are banned. You can see, like, right there, I use Suplin, which is a strength skill, and there was a mark. Or there was, like, a notification that popped up. You can kind of see, like, there was, like, a gold little thing. In fact, actually, let me jump back about 10 seconds. Or 5 seconds, rather. You can see, like, right here. Empowered, Enhanced, RAR, Special Active, Strength. This is me showing you guys. You can actually read your skills mid-dungeon, if you're not sure, to see what your skill tier is. There was also a golden debuff mark I had when I triggered the thing, but unfortunately it's gone now because, well, it doesn't last long. It lasts like 10-15 seconds. So, this is just me dealing as much damage as possible. Most of the attacks are just like, you either dodge them or you tank them. And here I'm just like tanking them as much as possible, try to deal as much damage as possible. I do get hit with the ice beam. It was almost very effective. Thankfully, I did have a potion ready. So for the most part, up until 150 health bars, it's very, very simple. He will do one skill ban between 150 and 250. Okay, I gotta pause here, because we saw the first one. It was blue, which is a tenacity. You can see me typing it in the chat right there. But unfortunately, I am not in a party, so it didn't work. So I immediately switched and went tenacity and bravery. Orange is bravery. There's a reason I typed it out. No, it's not because I'm very forgetful. Though, sometimes I have the memory of a goldfish. I don't know if Storm is aware. But the reason why I type it out is due to an old habit I have when it came to doing this raid. As I learned the raid mechanics, sometimes like we would spam skills, even if they were banned. And back then, when there was no 6 skill limit, and only one skill would trigger a roar that could trigger a wipe, we would actually just type out what the ban was so that people knew. I still tend to do this in parties out of habit, unless I know for a fact that I don't have to worry about it. Like, whatever. Once he's out of iframes, he's dead. So I typed tenacity and bravery to show you guys, like, hey, this is exactly like what you guys should probably do in teams and pay attention to. It can help out a lot more than you think. So again, blue is tenacity, purple is strength, orange is bravery. I know like there might be some people who are colorblind, but just as a reference, this is blue. Whatever color you're... as someone who isn't colorblind, or at least not that I'm aware of, I don't know how you guys can interpret this. I know like we do have some colorblind settings, but I see blue. Whatever you're seeing on your vision side, that is what tenacity looks like for a ban. Diakais. Actually, that is a good point. I have to pause here. Some people just type numbers rather than the full thing on bans. This is also true. And this is actually something I did. Just typing numbers. The reason why we type numbers is because, in a way, the tenacity, strength, and bravery represents the amount of MP cost. Tenacities are 100, strengths are 200, bravery is 300. So 1, 2, 3. So, thank you for reminding me on that, guys. Alright, and right there, he banned tenacity and strength. Now, if you pay attention to Berthe, you can see that he is glowing. He has a bit of an aura around him. I am just like attacking just to deal damage, but right there, the aura is gone. What that means is clear. Now, you could type clear or you could type C, which tells you bans are removed. You are now free to spam your skills. And if you're curious, active skills, hyperactive skills, and master skills do not trigger any bans. You are free to use these when available. Same with commands. Alright, now, this is also like where I realized, oh, I still have Olympia's aura on, excuse me, I gotta put eroding energy on. Alright, I am gonna pause here, and I'm gonna switch to triggering bans. So right here, you can just see that I am triggering the bans on purpose. You can see in the top right corner, there is the icon on the far left on the debuff bar. It says ×5. If I do one more ban skill, Berthe will roar. If you fought him in Feta, You know that he roars whenever you use a bravery skill, which will make him invulnerable and deal damage all around him and knocking you away. Very, very annoying. So you think like the same thing might happen here, right? No. Like I said before, it's a wipe. It hits everywhere on the map, and it deals enough damage to usually be fatal. Now, if you have enough damage reduction and an adaptation, you can survive it. This was actually something that a lot of people used to do with Celestia and Demersio, where they had skills that reduced damage taken for a brief period while the skill was active. Thank you, Cyclic. Yes, there are some skills that are labeled as buff. So that would be like Aisha's Wisdom Aura, Strength Aura, and Acceleration Aura. And I am forgetting Supplemental Aura for Aesop. Those are listed as buffs. Those are usable during bans with no repercussion. But going back, back in the day, like I said, Demersio and Celestia had the ability to activate a damage reduction effect at times that could reduce the roar's damage down to a manageable level. Now, you can also survive it with a title that grants a revival effect, Seal of Time, Broken Seal of Time from Synergy, or a passive from any of the different characters who have it. Celestia, Devi, Nova Imperator, Animos, just to name a few. Right here, I do trigger that roar. He's going to do it after this attack. He will first finish whatever attack animation. Right there it goes. Storm lived because of the... lived for a moment because of the revival effect that Animals provides. But unfortunately, if you survive, you are inflicted with silence. So I cannot use the skill. This means that Storm had to use a potion, but because I just needed to Storm to enter the dungeon, I'm like, Storm, just be in the party so I can enter the dungeon. After that, I don't care what you do. You can just focus on work. You can AFK, you can go make lunch.
Hanging out.
Yeah. But I would have gladly healed him. Now there is another thing. I'm now going to switch to the freezing Berthe footage. So here you can see like I'm alone because Storm unfortunately basically. This is still story mode. Now if you freeze before 150, you kind of see I froze him around like 225, 230-ish. Probably a little bit sooner because of the amount of damage I deal. But when you hit 150, you will delay the skill ban that is forced to happen at 150. Now you can like see he's on his hind legs. After I unpause, he'll eventually become targetable. I deal a little bit of damage, but now he's activating the roars again. Banning strength and bravery this time. I really don't mind because that's not really the point. I'm just there to show that you can skip and freeze. This is something that is an advanced bit of tech that people tend to do. But hey, if you can do it too, go for it. Alright, back to the main footage. Whoops, I hit the play on the wrong one. Yep. So, phase 1 is pretty much done in terms of mechanics and all that. So it's mostly just finish the boss, we're all set. Unfortunately, the power is too strong for Berthe, so he now becomes Berserk Berthe. And you'll notice at the very top in the middle, there are 3 icons, one blue, one purple, one orange. These represent the skill bans. Now, I know like some people are probably wondering, like, why don't we get that for Phase 1? Well, Phase 2 is different. Here is where I finally realized I can play Twins pick were smart. I used my hyperactive with 1,000 stacks to maximize the duration of Great Villain's appearance and just deal as much damage as possible. For the most part, a lot of these attacks, they ignore iframes, so you're just going to have to be careful. I am targeting his head, mostly just out of, reflex, because I tend to target the head. But in some cases, you may want to target the hands, depending on how your skills work. If they go upward, like Fatal Phantom's Burning Punisher, or Animos's Mod Die Tick Bombing, you may want to be around the hand. You'll deal damage to the hand, and you'll be able to hit the head in the process. But if you have skills that travel across the map in a straight line horizontally, maybe do the hand method, so stay on the sides. At the same time, you can block people off from the middle platform at the top with those icicles, the ice pillars. So right there, I'm making the size of the debuff bar larger so you can actually see the black barrier that I'm currently absorbing, and now the white barrier, or the light barrier. Actually, I guess it's the white barrier. Right there you can kind of see I had the strength and the bravery bands up. There are specific HP gates where you cannot go below the HP threshold until Berthe starts his roar. The band will not activate until he finishes the animation, though, so you're okay there. But during that attack, the one where the shockwaves are coming out and you're getting a debuff regardless of what side you're on, you need to swap between left and right side because you are building up stacks of a debuff. If said stacks reach 10, you will explode and you'll deal damage to anyone around you. The way to decrease this to 0 is to go to the other side. It will only last 2 seconds. Now I kind of just go straight into it because there's really not much else to teach on a solo. Which is why I'm now going to switch to some new footage. The isolation mechanic. So, in solo mode, you don't get to see this attack at all. I might have to jump ahead because this is a 4-minute recording and it takes a while. But you'll actually get to see here me telling Storm, hey Storm, I need you to kind of move a little bit. You think you can help with that just so that you don't lose all your resurrection stones?
I thought you told me to make lunch.
I did, but it was around this part I'm like, Storm, I kind of need you for this, and it's been like 10 minutes. Are you done yet? I need you to just move left or right. But I am trying to keep Storm alive because limited resurrections at the time, for him at least. But during that, again, if you hit 10 stacks, you explode. You can revive with certain title effects and all that. Here comes the laser attack, actually. As you can see, Storm just gets wiped out because he was focusing on his launch. But it hits the entire left and the entire right side. You can actually see what side is going to attack you based on what orb is charged. Let's skip ahead on the isolation mechanic one. Okay. Found what I wanted, but not yet. A little further. So, I want to say that this happens about every 2-ish minutes or so. Maybe 3. But he'll raise his hand like this, and usually what will happen is the party it's called isolation. Some party members will be sent to another dimension, and there are these orbs that appear that you need to destroy. If you don't destroy them, then people on the other dimension will take a lot of damage. Now, we're not going to take a lot of damage because both of us are on this side and there's no one on the other side. This is kind of why I was saying, you don't see the solo at all. But it lasts quite a while. Just deal as much damage to you as possible. It's best to focus on one orb as a team. If you're in a full party of 6, 3 people will be on this side, and then 3 people will be in the other dimension. And eventually, when the mechanic is over, I said eventually when the mechanic is over,
기운 내세요.
Berthe will kind of like be staggered a little bit. He'll be very tired out. He stood there for like a long time.
오르클.
Now I am going to switch to another bit of footage. This is the same isolation mechanic, except I started this after. This is the part where, unfortunately, Storm, because he was focusing on lunch, I had the ability to kick him, but I couldn't kick him.
부정한 것은
I needed
배제하노라.
it. But Storm is on the other side. I am on this side, as you can kind of see, because Storm is not really dealing with
hanging out.
He's just hanging out. He can't destroy the soul fragments on his side. So, I do eventually fall here. Yeah, right there.
안심하세요.
But this is what the other dimension looks like.
받아라.
Alright, let's switch back to the altar of invocation. We're going to go to phase 3. Oh, I am not clicking the right thing. Alright, with Berthe, Berserk Berthe dead, what are we going to get? Another Berthe? Nope. We get the Annihilator. Using the full power of the Soul Crystal. I know that's not what it's called. I'm just calling it that because you get soul crystals from this dungeon. So, again, this is another solo mode exclusive thing. You don't receive the debuffs from being hit by these attacks. In story mode and normal mode, you will receive debuffs when you're hit by the light or dark orbs. So, like the light orbs that you see right there, the dark orbs that are going all over the place as well, and the light orbs that he fires as his regular attack. If you are hit by the light orbs, you receive an attack power decrease of 2% per stack, max of 60%. So 30 stacks is where it'll cap out. The black ones will deal a debuff to your movement speed at the same rate. 2% per stack, 30 stacks max, so 60% of a debuff at max. You can kind of like hear him charging up that orb attack. You may want to move away from him if you don't have like a lot of damage reduction. Here you see these laser attacks. You can see like where they're coming in before they actually go. Something to also note is that there are times where you have to deal with both vertical and horizontal lasers. In those cases, the more lasers you touch, the more damage you take. And this also means every single laser has its own hitbox. So you have to be very cautious with that. Another thing is, I did mention about debuff removal and cleansing. The debuffs that I've mentioned here for the attack power and the movement speed, you cannot cleanse those. Those are uncleansable, except in a certain instance. Now, I tried to grab that black orb, which I wasn't able to, but I grabbed this one. You will need to grab this one in solo, as it will create a shield. You see, like right there, that shield is going to protect you from this ultimate attack, which, as you can probably imagine, hits the entire map. Alright, now I am going to play 2 more clips. First is Dark Orb. So this one there's no lag because I didn't work on the you like to see here, like dodging the lasers. Oh, I'm also showing up another station. It's kind of like a memory. Doing 4 lasers. Unfortunately, I failed the 4th spot, but we'll just take a bit of damage. When he's like doing this little thing right here, well, when he gets low on health, you actually see like these smaller, pure light orbs that will also be thrown out. If he's not below a certain health threshold, you'll just do the larger white and larger black orbs. To do it in the top left, the center, and right, just head to the left side. Be safe here. So this is where you're doing again. This is what we pause. You now see that there is now a second orb. That light orb is what removes the debuffs I mentioned earlier, the ones to your attack and your movement speed. Grabbing it will remove them, but they also surround you in a veil of light. That veil of light is going to allow you to save whoever picks up the dark orb. Which, see right here, I'm going to grab that said dark orb. And in story and normal mode, whoever picks up that dark orb gets the shield around it. The shield will also deal damage over time. I actually did die there, but the only reason why I lived is because I did have a revival title on it. So you can also walk out to the back. But now we're going to play the light orb footage. Right here, I am grabbing the light orb. This, like I said before, removes all the debuffs. So if you're at the DPS and you are still at this point, maybe grabbing the light orb is good. Now, you can't go into the shield. You will actually, like, hate it. So there, I used a revival title just to... you can grab it earlier, by the way. There is a point. Unfortunately, I don't get to see it. No, no. Where the dark orb will fall and the light orb will fall at the same time. And the light orb will remove the debuffs while you're doing damage to a boss. During this moment, by the way, he is not immune to debuffs, so throw your wind orbs, use your defense decreasing, activate whatever you can. You can't activate every single debuff and status effect. Do it. GM showing us how it's done. Yes, Galaxia. Now, granted, we did that with the bits before, but we are doing Pruinaum Raid because people are still struggling with it right now. And we just want to help you guys out. Alright. There's still about less than 2 minutes left of footage, so let's just kind of see how we do on this fight. Unfortunately, I did do another mistake where I used my Black Aura stacks earlier, trying to build them up again before the boss is defeated, but I'm trying to deal as much damage as possible. Which, as you can kind of see, like, yeah, that's a lot of damage coming out. I did have a Guardian of Every node up. Now, I don't really talk about it or show it, but there is also the title switching mechanic. You can do this in the custom keyboard settings. You can put a hotkey for swapping your titles. You can choose up to 4 favorites and switch between them when necessary. In this case, I like to have one revival title. That way, if I ever get into a point where I'm about to die, I can switch to that title and live. Something like Guardian of Every Node, Freed Shadow, or Concerto, which grants you a major buff when you awaken, is another one. So you switch to that title, activate your awakening, get a damage buff, and then you switch to your main DPS title, which will usually be something like Black and White, Natural Flow, or, as a number of the endgame players are getting now, Dogma. But right here, you can kind of see me showing off that ERP just to show, yeah, I may be at 400, but I'm only using 200.
Right there with the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, that was really it. And there's my character again. Showing you that this is all stuff you can have at this point of the game from Professor Foe. So don't ignore your Professor Foe. The professor requests your attention and all that. Slim Shin. 1. We've already done Abyss Raid. Actually, hold on. I'm going to switch screens here. Okay. 1. We are teaching Pruinaum Raid because there are still people with this event, the plus 11 Submergence of Abyss, and with the Combat Power Boost event, that are still struggling with Pruinaum Raid and causing wipes. So this is to help teach them about Pruinaum Raid. 2, we've already technically taught Abyss Raid months ago with our solo Abyss run. It is available on our YouTube. Just check our lives page for the stream. It was around the time that Solo Mode Raid came out, which I want to say was like about June or so. Probably actually earlier, now that I think about it. No. I'm actually looking this up because I want to make sure. Okay, it was like an end of May. Well, Ice Tower Blue, people, if they need to learn, then this is the way to do it. Watching a guide, looking up a guide and all that. Here, I'm explaining the mechanics, I'm showing the mechanics, trying to help you guys with that. And I know like there are people that can do this very easily. But there are still those, and don't forget, there are gonna be new people who will get to this point, and they may try solo mode, but not know how to clear as fast as I did. Even with me taking my time to show you guys. We may do one for Abyss Raid, Bison Red, that will be in a similar format. I don't think we're going to be able to do all 4 dungeons in a single stream. It might be like 1 dungeon per stream, maybe 2 dungeons per stream. We'll have to see. Okay. Storm, do you have any thoughts, any questions that you want to share before we head off?
None from my end, but I mean, that was a lot of information. I think we were also live on YouTube, right? So if you guys want to go back and look, it's on YouTube. I'm sure it'll be potentially highlighted on Twitch as well, right? So
I can highlight it on Twitch. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, so multiple places potentially for you guys to go and relearn if you happen to forget a mechanic or two.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if Twitch has the option for like a chapter system like I know YouTube does, but for the YouTube VOD in the live section, I will put timestamps in the description to create the chapters, so that what it'll be is like, say, Savage White Ghost Castle, Phase 1, Savage White Ghost Castle, Phase 2, and so on and so forth. So if you guys are like looking for that, then yeah, you can easily just jump in. And then just jump into the part that you need. Okay. With that said, we are going to be going off, taking a nice little break, because we have an update next week. We did announce on our roadmap a new giant boss dungeon, so definitely look forward to that. And we also have some community events going on, mostly on Discord. Storm, tell us the Discord quest for the week once more.
An easy one this week. Check out the reorder pet shop, and all you have to do is let us know which pet is your favorite from that. So pretty simple for a chance to win some KC this month.
Mm-hmm. Sadly, my favorite pet is not in that reorder shop.
Ooh.
I miss my Miho! I want to buy another Miho, even if I can't really use it because it'll mess up freezes. But we do also have Who's That Character? Who's That Character? You get to see a silhouette, and you have to guess what character it is. We will use illustrations or in-game models. Did we show already how to block strong attack from Berthe? I didn't show how to block it because I didn't use a blocker, Slim Shin, but I did mention it. I mentioned like how Demerzio could do it, how Celestia could do it, and how this was like a way that people did to skip mechanics. I do mention using revival effects like titles and Seal of Time and all that to kind of be a counterattack for it, or just a counter for it. Not really counterattack. Okay, yeah, Who's That Character? We're gonna have one every day, so participate in every day and you increase your chances of winning, but you can also increase how much you earn because you can win multiple times. So enter as many days as possible, get the answer correctly. We will announce the winners at the tail end of the month. So definitely participate there. We have the monthly fashion. Currently it's fall theme because September is when fall begins later in the month, but we want to get those fall fashion, right out. So pull out those fashion options that you have, whether you own them or just use the magic wardrobe. Easy way to enter. We also have a cryptogram event. Oh, actually, going back, fashion was also changed before from a first half of the month to a whole month event. And now to the cryptogram. Each week we are going to be posting a new cryptogram that will need to be deciphered. This week's theme is going to be characters, so very simple, very easy for you guys to figure it out. Just fill out the Google form with the answers, and you could earn yourself some KC as well. We will also have Spot the Difference in the second half of the month. We'll have 2 screenshots, both having a number of differences between 3 to 7. You just need to identify, not like exact, like you don't have to give me the exact item name. You just need to just give me a general idea as to what is different. And if you are correct with all of them, you enter the drawing for KC. And that's an everyday event similar to Who's That Character. Participate every day. You could win multiple times, earn more KC. Also, because we have the current Submergence of Abyss and Masterclass events still going on, the Masterclass Moment community event is still ongoing, and now with the second cycle, just show us a screenshot of you reaching Masterclass, and you can earn KC for it. We are choosing, I believe it's a total of 50 winners, so participate if you haven't done so already. Send a screenshot showing that you achieved that Masterclass. Alright, with that said, Storm, I think it's time you and I sign off, and we'll see everyone on the next live stream next week.